I'm going to read from my novel Two Cows and a Van Full of Smoke, which is set in the summer of 1976, which was a very hot, dry summer. And it's about two boys, one of whom finds a polytunnel in the woods, which contains a lot of dope plants which are being grown by some fairly unsavoury characters. And they steal these plants, and then the action spirals into a rather dangerous cat and mouse game. So I'm going to start from the beginning in a time-honoured fashion and put my glasses on. I worked for a tree surgeon, fell out of an oak tree and landed on a dog. The dog bit my leg and its owner chased me down the street with her walking stick. The next day I realised I'd lost my nerve for climbing. I'd look at a branch or a ladder or a chainsaw and break into a sweat. So I told my boss I had to leave. He was a calm, good-natured man with a steel plate in his head. And on my last day, he wished me luck and told me that if I ever got my nerve back, I should call him. The next day, I found a job on a pig farm. It was a good job, with plenty of opportunities to lean on gates and stare at fields, but I felt sorry for the pigs. They'd look at me and grunt and seem to tell me that they needed to be free. So one evening, I let 6 sows out and watched them disappear into a wood. They stood and blinked, did the twitchy things pigs do when they're not sure of their luck, and then they ran. The last time I saw them, they were barreling through the undergrowth towards a stand of ash trees. I told the farmer it wasn't my fault and I'd been busy in a barn, but he didn't believe me, gave me the sack and told me that if he ever saw me on his property again, he'd shoot me. And he showed me his gun. He was serious but stupid, and that made me wonder. Wonder is stronger than stupid, so I walked and didn't go back. At that time, I was living at home, sleeping in a small bed under the eaves. There were posters of bikes on the walls, and my chest of drawers smelt of cheese. There was a worn carpet on the floor and carpets I didn't like. The window looked out over the village green, a quiet piece of grass with gardens behind and houses beyond them. The village is called Ashbrittle, but you wouldn't know it to see it. The houses are small, the hedges are tidy, the county border is up the road. It's a shy place, suspicious but knowing. It thinks for itself and has its own mind and heart and even soul. And when the night comes down and the stars shine and the weary traveller is lost in the darkened lanes that echo to their own whispers, it would be easy to think that the place was watching and waiting for the best time to do something unforgivable.
Congratulations on getting on the Fiction Uncovered shortlist.
Thank you.
It was a great book, really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy the process of writing it?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I only really sort of come alive when I'm writing, and yeah, it was, had a few hiatuses, you know, during the actual process, but most of the time, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
It had been a book that had been brewing for quite a long time, for about 6 or 7 years actually. So yeah, once I started to get words down on paper, yeah, it really felt like I was doing something.
Yeah, yeah. The bit that you read from talks about 1976, obviously setting the time. Was that an important year for you personally, or?
It was. I always start with. There are two things I always start with when I write a novel. And it's a landscape and a time. And the summer of '76 is it was quite important for me, but I just remember it very vividly. I was actually living in the village where the book is set, right. And the summer just seemed to go on and on and on. And you're too young to remember it, but fields would spontaneously combust, and standpipes were put out in the street, and politicians advised people to take a bath together and stuff, much to the Daily Mail's chagrin. But Yeah, no, so this summer had been bugging me for quite a long time. I knew there was a book in it somewhere, and when the story came along, I felt I'd sort of struck gold, so to speak.
Magic, superstition, and nature play major roles in the book. Are they important to you?
Not really. I suppose that, I salute when I see a magpie, but that's about it. But then so did Liam Gallagher, But I'm not really. I'm a confirmed atheist, so I don't really have any thoughts either way. What I was looking for was a second strand in the book that would, we had this story, this cat and mouse story of these two lads trying to escape from these guys they've stolen the dope from. But I wanted something else that would resonate with the reader. In the village it's set, Ashbrittle, there is that when I lived there was a palpable sense of something was going on that you really kind of like didn't quite know what it was, and it could have been magic, it could have just been hocus pocus, but there was something. There's a yew tree in the churchyard which is reputed to be one of the oldest things in the world. It's meant to be it was meant to be 1,000 years old when Christ was born.
Right.
And I had a friend that came who you can walk through the branches of the trunk of this tree, and she had ganglions on her arm, and she walked through. She'd had them on her arm for ages. She walked through the tree, and in the morning they were gone. True story.
Yeah. So maybe there's something in it.
Maybe there's something in it. I wouldn't like to speculate.
Yeah, but I guess the West Country likes the idea of ley lines and obviously not being too far from Glastonbury and. Yeah. There's something going on. There was a house that I lived in near Ashbrittle, it belonged to my uncle, which was most definitely haunted by something. You would hear strange things going on and dogs getting locked in cupboards, which when they couldn't have been. Right, okay, right.
Christmas tree decorations flying off Christmas trees in the middle of the night.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's strange down there.
It's very strange, yeah.
Two Cows isn't all about the dark arts and the beauty of nature. There are car chases, fights, laughs and loves. Which do you find the most enjoyable to write?
Anything that moves the action on, I find difficult to write. I can write sort of descriptions of fields and trees and people's faces and stuff till the cows come home. But when I actually have to move things on, like for example, there's a motorbike chase in the book, isn't there? Yeah, and I find that very difficult. Sort of like full-on action. Yeah, it's because it always seems a bit sort of like, I don't know, it seems a bit false in a way, to my mind. But obviously, you have to move things on.
Yeah, I mean, pace is important, obviously, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's the first book that I've written which has got like a pacey feel to it. All my others have been sort of slice of life type things, but this has got a genuine sort of plot to it, which I've never really done before.
If you were a character in Two Cows, who would it be and why?
It would be the father, probably the father of the son, because he does things that I used to do in those days. Bit of gardening, bit of farming, I almost said bit of growing dope. Well, I might as well say it. It's,
and being able to fix everything, isn't that his?
His
ability is.
Yeah, he used. Yeah, I used to be able to fix things.
So you've lived in the village. Were there real characters like Mr. Evans and Spike and Elliot around?
I think Mr. Evans is based on the farm I used to work for on the farm. I mean, people always say, but people often say to you in the pub, "Better be careful what I say around you because I'll end up in one of your books." And this is never going to happen because you'll take sort of 10% of one person, 10% of another, and then the other 80% you make up. But there are elements of Mr. Evans who are sort of based on characters I know. There was, I think, Spike is sort of slightly based on someone I knew much later on when I lived in Dorset. Yeah, you'd meet characters around like that. I mean, peripheral characters tend to be more... peripheral characters, people who say might have like one sentence to say, they might be based 100% on somebody you know, but generally I make them up.
There's a lot of humour in the book as well. Who or what makes you laugh currently?
Oh, those cats on the internet, they make me laugh. Any cats on the internet. Somebody said the internet was invented for cats, for funny cats, and yeah. Is
this the one where they're sticking their head in the toast or in the
anything
bread?
like that, or they're reading books or anything. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Cats make me laugh.
Cats make me laugh. Yeah. Animals make me laugh actually. Just the rather, you know. Yeah. Stupid things they do.
Are there any other contemporary writers that you look up to, that you enjoy to read, that you go to the closest Foyles bookshop to you to buy their latest book, or?
Well, coincidentally, I mean, one of my favourite novelists is T-Ball Fisher. I think he just has a way. He's just completely out there, you know, and successfully. I mean, I don't know if you read Collector, which is basically the story of it's a novel narrated by a vase or a vase even, and that's wonderful. And then his first one, Under the Frog.
Do you treat writing as a job, as a profession, clocking in and out of the study for lunch and dinner?
Not really, no. I mean, what happens is I wait. If I try and force it, it just comes out false. So I just have to wait for it to come, and when it does, then I can be writing for, you know, 18-hour stretch, you know. Yeah. But when it's not, then I'm just fiddling really. I do a lot of editing when I'm not actually writing full on. So I find it's very seasonal. I know now. Like, when autumn comes, that's when I really kick in big time. Oh, right. But this time of year, I find it quite difficult to write. The days are too long. It's too light. I like dark. I like darkness.
And that helps you concentrate, or you're not thinking of being outside in the garden? Or,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.